Start recording.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Another week. Sports Jargon Podcast.
And another can crack.
Another can crack. Adam Stone.
Well, I thought we were going to switch it up today.
All right, let's switch it up.
Adam Stone.
Bosch Burnett.
Or Hosh.
Or Hosh, if you will.
Yeah, whatever way you wanted to be typing it in the group chat. What is going on here? Hello?
Hello.
Can we get
Hello.
some clarity?
Our microphone's working. You like
Oh,
that?
that's a little bit better. Okay.
We got a few things to discuss today. This is a no...
Those lights are way too bright.
Turn down the lights a little bit, please. This is a no football podcast. We're banning it this week.
Yeah,
Nothing to talk about.
I don't know how much more we could talk about. It's still so bright.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Well, I want to start it off, and I want to talk about college basketball.
Okay.
Women's college basketball.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark. GOAT? Is she one of the GOATs of college sports?
She's real good.
She's real good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, real good.
Iowa Hawkeyes, they lose. She was a monster this year.
And she's coming back.
She's coming back. I just want to say...
I ain't leaving.
I ain't
fucking leaving.
I ain't leaving. Lose to LSU. Her big thing was
Really good
John Cena. You can't see me. I want to talk about how much I love this. Women's college basketball ratings skyrocket. At the top of its class, if you will. Oh, he's still messing with the lights. Ratings-wise.
Oh, way better. Way better.
Way better. Ratings-wise, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I feel like LSU and Caitlin Clark were both the stories of the tournament.
Absolutely.
Outside of maybe Miami.
Outside of Miami with
The TikTok twins there.
TikTok twins. Love them, by the way. Good for them. Shout out.
Yep.
Shout out twins.
Yeah, shout out.
If you ever want to be guests on the podcast, let us know.
We'll take you.
So they averaged 9.9 million viewers. The previous record...
Can we get half of that?
Previous record, 5.7 million. 2002.
Wow.
UConn women win.
Well, I mean, makes sense.
And let's be honest, everybody watched this game for LSU versus Caitlin Clark, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know there was some talk early in the season about it was like weird women talking shit. Apparently that's a problem these days. However,
Everybody talks shit.
everybody talks shit. They're competitive, blows up the ratings.
Uh-huh.
I'm all in.
Yeah,
I am actually now. Ask me if I was invested before the season. No, I cannot wait for next season now because I want to see.
It was fun.
I want to see
The women's
Caitlin
tournament
Clark,
was fun.
I want to see Clark hit the attitude adjustment, the 5-knuckle shuffle, fist drop. Give it to me all.
The STFU.
The STFU. You name it. I want to see her do it, and I think it's tremendous.
Huge for the game.
Huge, absolutely huge for the game. We talked about this, and we'll get into it a little bit later with baseball ratings, but I feel like this is finally something now people can get excited about. Whether you like it, didn't like it, her hitting a 3 and hitting the you can't see me, it generates, you have 20 years of wrestling fans that are John Cena fans. You get them, people are showing it all over the world. Hey, if you're wrestling, they're showing it.
Yeah.
WWE, they're showing it. TikTok, they're showing it. Miami ladies showing it on their TikTok, which I thought was
did they really? That's awesome.
I mean, they were like they do their TikTok thing, and it's some people have a problem with it, and it's like they are getting millions of views on women's college basketball. Ask me as we looked in there, they literally doubled the ratings.
We're doubling it and doubling it and doubling it.
How can you be mad, right? Like
you can't. There's nothing to be mad about.
And I will say my final thoughts on it, and if you can add more if you want. A lot of people are upset with Reese, LSU guard, who mocked her with it. I loved it when Antoine Winfield hit Tyreek Hill with the cheetah in the Super Bowl because he did that to everybody all year. Caitlin Clark all year hit the John Cena. She did it back to her, said, "Where's your ring? Goodbye."
Yeah.
Let's run me back for the rematch. I'm all in.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm all in.
Because, I mean, I didn't look up the end of the game to see what had happened and everything like that. Because from all I had seen was everybody was saying, oh, well, she hunted Caitlin down after whatever just to do that. It looked like it was right after the game ended, so I'm not sure what people were talking about with that. Like I said, I haven't seen it. Like, I didn't watch the entire clip or nothing. It looked like it was after the game, buzzer went off, and it was like, hey, right
boom,
here.
goodbye, game's over.
Which, if that's the case, love it.
But
love it. The only thing because if that's true, and say she took 10 minutes after the game and she's looking around, just looking for this girl, sure, I can see where you have a problem with it. But nothing for nothing, I feel like that's kind of where we're at with this because that gets a lot deeper.
Yeah.
If Reese was not maybe the way that she is physically, we might not have had a discussion about this.
Right.
And I hate to say that, but that's gamesmanship. That's you want to do it, I'm going to get you right back. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, just to compare it, if I see Steph Curry one more time hit a three and hit the go to sleep, like he does that all the time. All the time, and I feel like now we have personalities now for
Pat Bev and Austin Reeves, or
right.
I think it was Austin Reeves when Pat Bev hit LeBron with the too
small.
Oh
yeah, with the too small.
And then
yeah.
Austin Reeves, whatever he did the next time they played, hit Pat Bev with the too small. Like, if you're gonna go out there and put yourself out like that, expect to be God.
Right, absolutely, and it's I
That's
think,
it.
and also too like,
and it makes the game interesting.
And now, next year when the season starts, ESPN's going to cover it.
That's all you're going to be talking about.
All the sports are going to cover it, and they're going to be talking about the rematch. They're going to try to do LSU versus Caitlin Clark. Who knows? And hopefully, there's a lot of people out there watching it.
Absolutely.
I mean, 9.9 million. It's a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
That's a lot of viewers, and like I said, I just think it's.
It grows the brand. If nothing else, it's
especially
growing your brand.
And nothing against like Angela Reese, 23 points a game, 15 rebounds a game.
Off the bench, no? Didn't she come off the bench and put those
I
numbers
actually
up?
don't know because I didn't follow it until the final game. Well, I don't want to say that. I kind of followed the tournament because Miami's run was pretty quick because they were the 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah.
And they were running, and then obviously you can't open up TikTok and not see the twins, like the Cavender twin or whatever they are.
Yeah, however you say the name.
Yeah.
We butchered it, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah. If you want to have a problem with it, come on us, talk to us about it, make fun of us, that's fine. But
put us on TikTok, make fun of us.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's like I think it's absolutely fantastic for the game. This is a place where social media has vastly boosted the game.
Oh,
I mean, we are because Reese now has 1.7 million followers on Instagram after this tournament.
Berserk.
Which is I'm looking at it now, but do yourself a favor at home. Google the other female basketball players and see where they're at. She has made a name for herself. Next year, Caitlin Clark, I'm sure, is going to skyrocket, and she'll go to WNBA and all that other stuff. But I just wanted to give that a shout out because I thought it was awesome. I was invested.
Yeah.
Really, that's kind of what it comes down to, right?
Absolutely.
It's you want to get invested into because we can talk if you want to talk about it now or later. But we were talking about the men's tournament. Kind of towards the end, we're kind of like, yeah. There's no star players.
Yeah.
There was whatever.
There was no real blue blood school.
We can switch to it right now.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I like that.
The finals was UConn versus San Diego State, and it was not really much of a game. UConn they beat them by almost 20 points.
Yeah.
Good for them. Like, I'm excited for them.
Can I say that was the one thing I got right in my entire predictions? If you wanted to go back, that UConn was a wagon, and they were the best team coming out of the Big East, and they fucking proved it.
Yep.
That's the only thing I got right.
But we talked about it. We talked about too. Like there was a lot of teams that you're kind of like, yeah, but, and like UConn was tested.
The Big East was no joke this year.
No,
you had Marquette, you had Xavier, you had UConn, you had Creighton, you had there was another like 11 seed or something like that came in. I'm not gonna remember it right now, but you had at least 4 teams from the Big East, if not 5. I can't remember exactly how many it was. Big East showed out.
Big East showed out, and that game too. I just want to, because I talk about for the men's college basketball ratings was 11.2 million.
It was the worst in so long, was it not?
It was down about 2 million from 2021, which was the last time it was on CBS.
Okay.
Women almost drew as much as the men. Mm-hmm. But you know what?
The women's had a storyline.
Women's had a great storyline. Like I said, they had the social media aspect. Caitlin Clark I don't want to say she's the female Steph Curry because she's her own person now, but she has transcended where she is mega popular. Same thing with
Logo
Angel
Clark.
Reese.
Logo Clark.
Right. Let me say anything with Angel Reese. Like they were mega stars, charisma, everything you want for a star basketball player.
I think the new kids now are calling it Riz.
The Riz. I believe they both have the Riz, if you will. But no, I thought it was really. I think it's really cool, and I think it's. We talked about how there was like no star power for the men's tournament, right? Like we talked about that before the tournament. We were kind of going back and forth, like, oh, Duke looked pretty good. Oh, Miami looked pretty good. Like we were kind of like going through, and then we were like, Kansas, yeah, I think. Gonzaga, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
We were like Houston. We're like, where do you put Houston? Because we went through their schedule.
Didn't like Houston all year.
But we were like, well, they didn't really play anybody. They didn't really do a whole lot. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, I mean, but then you look at FAU. FAU didn't fucking play anybody all year.
Right,
and they won however many games they won, and got themselves to the Final Four.
Right, and that's what just makes it hard is
you don't know where to put these teams that don't really play anybody, but they just win games. Like,
right, and I'm kind of thinking San Diego State, I think, is returning a decent amount of their players.
No, San Diego State was all...
They were all seniors.
Yeah, they were all 4 seniors, 1 junior, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean...
UConn was a real young team, though.
UConn was young?
Yeah, UConn is ranked way too early rankings, AP #1 team for next year.
And I do believe, like, I looked at it earlier today, NBA mock draft, because I knew we were doing this, and I didn't see anybody from UConn being on there, so...
They're all young.
They're all young. I don't think lack star power, but men's lacked a little star power. Women didn't.
Yeah.
The ratings were real close. Real close. But yeah, I don't know what else you have to talk about college basketball, but I think that was one of the weirder college basketball seasons where you didn't have a whole lot of star power. I mean, like the best NBA prospects overseas. The second best
brought a gun
may or
on
may
campus.
not have shot somebody or had some involvement in somebody getting shot. Like,
it's fine.
You know, it's fine. But I mean, like Arkansas had a couple. They got 2 guys that could go in the lottery, and you're like,
It was, yeah.
And then, like, I mean, I'm looking at right now. I mean, you had Jarris Walker from Houston, like he's there. Brandon Miller, but then you have Scoot Henderson, who's in the G League. Eamon Thompson, Sear Thompson, both G League overtime elite. Then you have Wembanyama there.
Honestly, next year's class,
Wembanyama, whatever you want to call it, but these guys aren't in college.
No.
It takes away from the star power.
Next year, you're going to have a lot of these big name guys that are going to be going, or if not seniors, probably declaring for draft with Keontae Johnson from Kansas State, the guard there from Kansas State. Baycott's going to be going to the draft. You're going to have like other guys. Caleb Love's going to be going to the draft. You're going to have a lot more of these Kansas guys that are going to be ready for the draft. You're going to have more. More guys that are going to be declaring and everything like that.
But I mean, I think it just kind of goes to show this year where
it was young. The teams were either really young or really old, and that's what COVID did to them, honestly.
Yep.
So that should start to work its way through in the next couple of years, but it'll be interesting still to see how that all works out because Baycott's taking his 5th-year option, and that's why he's staying around. If COVID never happened, Baycott's not coming back.
Yep.
So that's just kind of where we're at with college basketball right now. It's
and just to throw in, we have the Cavendish sisters. Like
that was their name.
They just after their loss 1 day ago, they posted a video of them dancing in a bikini. 4.5 million views. So that's a lot of views. We know why people are watching it, but at the end of the day, everybody's like, "Hey, those are college basketball players." Like that's what people are rising. You follow them because they're college basketball players. I mean, you follow them for other reasons, but
if you didn't, you said, "Oh, that's the TikTok stars." Oh, but they're playing in the tournament.
Yep.
And now you're like,
yep.
It just comes full circle, and you're getting.
No, I think, like I said, I think it's fantastic, and I think women's college basketball is in a great spot. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
let's see. I mean, I'm good with college. If you're good with college right now.
Yeah, I graduated 4 years ago. I'm pretty good.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I graduated a little over 4 years ago. Whatever you want to call it. It's fine. Let's see what else we got on your list here.
Actually, 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Sorry.
Check it out.
Yeah, math. Didn't take that.
Let's go to baseball, because I think we got a lot of stuff to cover in baseball.
Like baseball.
Let's see. I'm like looking through, and I'm just gonna start going through.
Yeah, we wrote down a couple things. I think you could pick any one of these things, and we'll hit the ground running here.
I want to talk as a whole of the whole of baseball.
Okay.
Where it is after the first week of the season. So the first week of the season, we are officially at the first week.
Yeah. Today.
I believe
Last game
we did the
playing
podcast
right
last
now.
week, didn't we? Like we did it like a week ago from today.
I think it was Wednesday, maybe.
Wednesday.
It was close.
So
Because it wasn't Tuesday. It wasn't after our draft.
So earlier today, again, did a little research to get ready for this podcast, and there's a couple things I wanted to bring up.
We do work sometimes.
We do work. We do
sometimes.
a little research. So you and I watched the video yesterday of Machado getting thrown out, where he was in the box, called time
Twice,
had trying to adjust his gloves, but he's in the box, looking at a pitcher. They call a strike on him, strike out. I think bases loaded or 2 on, whatever.
Yeah, it was a pretty big point of the game.
Threw him out. Ohtani gets called for a strike and a strike in the batter's box, pitcher's mound.
Mm-hmm. First player ever. There
was a lot of things to discuss about the rules. A lot more steals.
The steals are cool. The steals is fun to watch.
And Anderson got ejected yesterday. Tim Anderson.
Right? Yep. My guys like getting ejected.
Yeah. Quick pitch. Now, there's a lot that I want to get into this, so that's why I'm just kind of like putting all of it out there. So the first week, controversial, right?
Yeah.
You could probably say that.
Because
hitting's way up.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Which actually, let me write this down because it'll be something we could talk about.
Yep.
But so apparently, averages right now are 1 infraction per game. Is what all announcers are saying, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because any game I'm watching, I'm at least seeing 1.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not Scoop. I'm not watching every game out there.
I'm not watching every game.
I'm trying to though. But
yeah, I've watched a lot more baseball than I've ever watched.
But I'm seeing at least 1 infraction. And if I'm seeing these games where there's 3, 4 infractions, I'm seeing at most games I'm watching where I'm seeing at least 1. How are we averaging out to 1? I'm not entirely sure that the numbers are completely correct on that. I don't think it's that many, but some of these guys have adjusted. Like Kenley Jansen, I was watching him pitch today before I came down here.
Yep.
Historically, one of the guys that takes the most time on the mound.
Yeah. In
between pitches, his delivery's real slow, everything like that. He has probably made one of the biggest adjustments I have seen. He takes his minute to get his pitches in or whatever, but Kenley Jansen was a 4 or 5 second pitcher just getting the ball out from the windup. He's getting that ball out of there quick now, and he's putting some extra pace on that ball.
Scherzer,
he's averaging.
Scherzer, Cortez. There's a lot of guys that are just speeding it up. Yep.
Jansen last year was averaging like 94, I think, on his cutter.
Okay.
He was up around mid to high 95s, 96 today.
Okay.
So this quickened pace, even as an older guy, what is he, mid 30s, I think?
So, yeah, he's somewhere in his 30s. Yeah.
He's getting more velocity on the ball. So I don't know how I feel about it all.
So, as we're talking about this, and there's a lot to get into for baseball, I just want to throw a couple things out there. So, my social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I am not like the most popular person in the world where I follow 8 million people.
You're not?
Believe it or not.
You're a pro wrestler.
And I get a lot of people complaining, oh my God, World Baseball Classics did it the right way. I hate the new rules. And I just want to throw some numbers out to you. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't know this.
This is news to me. I'm ready for it.
ESPN, opening day weekend, 12% increase in viewers.
Okay.
MLB TV, streaming platform, 121 million over the first week, up 42%. According to SportsPro.com, I don't really know what that is. Yahoo covered it. Okay. Yahoo claims it's relevant.
Was that Wheels? Oh, sorry.
Was that Yahoo Wheels?
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm actually going to see. I'm going to open up the article. So, let's see. Who's the guy who wrote this article? Jack Baer. Sure.
Oh, Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls from Yahoo Sports.
Yeah, Bear Grylls, Yahoo Sports.
Oh, also too, ESPN gives a lot of credit to Alex Rodriguez and Michael Kay for when they did Sunday Night Baseball. It was the highest rated Sunday Night Baseball they ever had. And that was Alex Rodriguez and Michael Kay were like doing their Manning cast, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So, at the end of
I didn't know about that, actually. That's
at the end of the day, ratings are massively up. Mm-hmm. Massively up.
Well,
and it's the games are 29 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
Which is
kind of a big fucking deal.
League-wide batting average went from 230 to 245. So last year for opening week was 200 batting average 230. This year's 245. Stolen base attempts.
It's got to be triple, quadrupled.
67%. It is now about 84% for success rate. So I mean, it jumped.
Success rate.
It jumped 20%.
And I'm sure there's a hell of a lot more steals inside of that.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming.
Yeah.
Now, another thing to add on to this, because I'm going to add on to this as well, because I'm reading the article now. It's on Yahoo. You can look it up. Sports Media Watch has an article on it I'm looking through. Front Office Sports also covers it about how much more people are watching it. Now, the most watched clips are the clips of them arguing with the umpires.
Yeah, generally that's how it goes.
So, there's a lot of information here. You have way more people watching. I mean, I would say 12% way more. The millions, you have millions more people watching it on. Millions and millions watching it. Are they watching it for the wrong reasons? Do we care?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna say I
because
don't
I'm gonna cut you off for 3 seconds.
Yep, nope.
I just want to preface this. You were a massive baseball fan through and through. Whether they changed the rules or not changed the rules, you were watching it.
Yes.
I used to be a big baseball fan in the late 90s, early 2000s. Kind of fell off. Kind of was like, whatever, it's baseball. Not that I had anything against it. I just kind of fell out of it. I've done that with sports my whole life, where I used to be huge into hockey. Now I'm not. Now I'm not for other reasons.
Yeah, there's that.
So
we discussed that in last week's
episode.
We did.
Someone like your brother, huge, his sport, it was his sport, Skip Wilson over there. But if more people are watching it, but they're watching it because people are arguing and the rules are ridiculous, are we happy about this? Now, also, too, I'll throw out there, too, I would imagine, and I could be wrong, baseball's TV deal is coming up shortly. I believe. I think it's 2026 somewhere.
Yeah, around there. I was going to say
somewhere
2026.
around there. I know. We looked it up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I can tell you what's going to happen. The TV producer are going to look at the numbers and be like, "What do you want? Here's extra advertising money, right?" Because that's the way the world works. There's more eyes on it, more advertising money. Mm-hmm. So I think monetarily, it is good for baseball, but is it good for the longevity of the game where people are watching?
That's what I was going to say. Because
right.
If you're just watching it because you like these players arguing with the umpires, how long until you don't enjoy that anymore? Or you literally just watch for these breakdown clips where people pull batters arguing with umpires and things like that.
And also, too, a lot of people brought it up, and it's on here on ESPN, the main article. Sandy Alcantara shut out the Twins 1-0.
In under 2 hours.
The game was 1 hour and 57 minutes. Now, I think there's a lot that goes into that, too, because how do you charge $150 for a baseball ticket, and you come there, the game's 1-0, and the game's less than 2 hours? You're like, wow, it's a lot of money gone like that.
See, I know a lot of people like to see the home run ball and things like that. I like a pitching matchup like that more than anything. I would love to see I would like to see under 4 runs scored, and these pitchers are battling.
Yeah,
that's my ideal game.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah,
but I can understand where people don't like that because they want to see the flashy, the showy, all the things like that. I just worry that you're doing all this, and you're just all of a sudden it's gonna be one day and everybody stops. Oh yeah, well I've seen all this before, and it's just gonna fucking plummet.
Well, because I mean, eventually.
Because you're not losing the purists. The purists are still going to watch because it's baseball.
Right.
If I consider myself a purist, then
I would say you are, yeah.
I'm still watching it because it's baseball, and I love baseball that much. Would I like it to still be the way it was? Yeah, I would. Or you're putting this pitch clock up, and you're not giving these people balls and strikes because of it. Because any game I've watched where the umpire's giving these, whether it's a ball or strike, whether it's on the pitcher or the batter, the announcers don't know what the fuck's going on. The announcers are all waiting to see what happens on that digital board because umps aren't mic'd up or not. Or they are, but they have to flip their mic, whatever.
Right.
And they're not flipping the mic, and all of a sudden you just see hand motions,
Yeah.
and they don't give a score up again, or a count up again. Literally, I was watching it earlier. I think it was the White Sox?
White Sox? Okay.
No, I don't want to say that. I don't know which team it was today. But, literally they didn't know what count it was. And the announcers are going, well, if they get a strike thrown, we'll see if it gets struck out or not.
Right.
And the count on the board was right, and the announcers are going, oh, okay, well, unless you're getting 4 strikes today, then this was the correct count. And It's like, how are you not relay the fucking message? If you're going to do it, relay the goddamn message.
And that's kind of...
And every game I've seen where that happens, the announcers do the same thing because they don't know.
And
that's a problem.
And it's hard because, whether it's ball strike, whatever, they give the universal symbol of time, right? So then the umpire comes out, and I mean, it's almost universal. He comes out and he yells at the pitcher. Like, that's his main target.
Yeah.
Fuck you, pitcher. This is what's going on. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to unpack here. Maybe it's not a whole lot to unpack, depending on how you look at it. But fans are watching more than ever. Well, I don't want to say more than ever, but they've certainly been getting a lot more than last year.
Yes.
A lot more than 2021, a lot more than 2020. But you're also now, as part of it, oh my God, look how crappy this is. Oh my God, these rules are ridiculous. Oh man, I love Manny Machado losing it on the umpire. I mean, he didn't really, I mean, that was whatever. We'll talk about it. We could talk about that, but that was one of
the softest ejections I've ever seen.
And then you throw him out as he's walking away, like, come on. But it's...
Unless he said, fuck your mom or something.
Right.
Like,
I mean, like, Tim Anderson, too, like...
Didn't really look like a whole lot there, and all of a sudden he's fucking gone.
Right, and I feel like they're really cracking down on, hey, here's our call, we're abiding the rules, we're going to call it super strict.
Something else, too, to think about, which I'm sure the casual fan has no idea about.
Yeah.
I think there was 10 crew chiefs that retired this past offseason. It was
That's good to know.
It was a very high number of umpires, and a lot of them were crew chiefs that retired this past offseason. So there's a lot of new guys in there that I'm sure are trying to assert themselves or what have you. But I'm sure that's something that the casual fan is not going to know about. And
Right.
Which could also be an issue with it as well. I don't know. The game's doing well right now. We'll see if it continues. I don't mind the bigger bases. Bigger bases could stay regardless. I like that.
I feel like the pickoffs have had more of an impact than the bases, right?
Yes.
Base size like that.
Yes.
And realistically, if they're like, hey, the bases are 6 inches bigger. I know they're 3 inches bigger, but let's say it's 6 inches bigger. Whatever. Player safety, fine. I could care less.
Yeah, no.
You know, that literally doesn't make a whole lot of difference on me watching.
Limited pickoffs upset me because.
I think you and I talked about this last week where it was like opening day.
Yeah, it was
Acuna Jr. gets on. They throw over once. He kind of gets picked off. It's a bum throw. Second one, it's real close. Track race, easy steal.
Yeah, and he looks at the umpire and goes, 2. That was 2, right?
Yeah, made sure there was no doubt about it. 2, I'm going. Yep,
and then Brian Snicker, actually, the manager, brought blocks out for him.
Blocks. Put him down.
Yeah, and then he was standing on the sprinters blocks and let Acuna run.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it is...
2 seems like very little to me.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know what the strategy is with that, but...
And these batters don't know whether or not they can call timeout anymore. Like,
well, I mean, and that's a lot of it, too, where there's so many things going on where, okay, you got to get in. We're going quick. You get one timeout, call a timeout. Well, they don't have to grant it to you.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to have to be a rule that's adjusted because if you're going to limit it, and then you're not granting them the timeout.
But that's also the umpire. Talk to these guys. Tell them what you're looking for.
Like Otani talked about it afterwards. He was like, after that game, he was like, I talked to the umpires. I know what to change. But now if you hit them with it or you change it or it's a little bit different for each umpire, you're going to cause problems.
Yes.
But a lot, and maybe it's fool's gold, maybe it's not fool's gold. We're going to see how the ratings go for baseball. But
I'd like to see how they stand for the rest of the year.
Right, because everybody's like, hey, let's see how it is. And like I said, I see people bashing it. I see way more people bashing it than appreciating the rule changes, which is fine, call it whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, more people are watching it, so right now baseball is grinning ear to ear. Hey, we did it. This is what we wanted. But now it's people are watching for the right reasons, because if you've lost any diehard fans by changing the
You're
rules,
not getting them back.
and then all the people that are watching it for the flash in the pan to see the new rules, if they all of a sudden fall off,
then you just lost even more fans.
Now where you're at.
Exactly.
But at the same time too, World Baseball Classic was super exciting. Some of the best baseball in the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, no.
And then
those Final Four that Final Four series with
right. And what was it? Korea Japan was the most watched baseball game of all time. I think it ended up with it being. Did we ever find out what the World Baseball Classic actual final ratings were?
No, because I would assume that America-Japan game blew Korea-Japan out of the water. There was 97%, I believe, of TVs in Japan for that game. In Japan were watching that game.
Let's see.
And that was at what? It was some absurd time in the morning, I think, in Japan when they were doing that, because it was so late over here.
And it's hard because, so I just Googling it quick. It looks like there was 5.2 million people watched it in the United States.
Okay. And I bet you there was double that in Japan.
Had to be, right?
Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was some absurd number, like over 90% of games, or of TVs, were watching that game in Japan.
Right. I wonder, maybe we'll have to look at it some other time because I can't really find it right now.
I might have sent it, if you keep going, I might have sent it in a group chat.
But I think that there's a lot of looking at it one way or another. Baseball ratings are up. We'll see if they stay up.
I'm worried.
People can complain about it. Right now, baseball is proving, hey, fuck you, we did it. Enjoy our new rules.
Yeah, I'm very worried though.
Yeah, and then so now while you're looking for the ratings, we can look at it. I want to get into minor league baseball real quick before we get into Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Because it just happened shortly ago. Fernando Tatis Jr. home run. AAA El Paso today.
So good.
Crushed it. But it would have been, I think he hit it from, I don't know, if we're in New York, he probably would have hit it to Canada. That's how far he hit that ball.
Yeah, he hit that thing to Niagara Falls.
Now, after the game, post-game, McClure, who he hit it off of, Cade McClure.
Mm-hmm. So good. This was all so good.
Oh, calls him a cheater.
So
dirty,
good.
rotten rat cheater.
Love it. Oh, it was incredible.
And, you know, it's kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
You get penalized, you do your time. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Incredible.
I think what makes it interesting is we're now the new wave of baseball. You do steroids, you are a cheater. Mm-hmm. They test for it. They do whatever for it.
Actually, what I was wanting to bring up before, this will segue perfectly into the end of this. So.
Perfect. And it's just...
no, I can only see the...
I don't have anything else to add to it, but I just, Tatis hits the ball a quarter mile to the moon.
It was ringworm cream.
Ringworm cream. He is labeled a cheater, and it's, man, what a turn of events baseball has hit. Where 20 years ago, well, I guess it was a little more than 20 years ago, we have the biggest steroid investigation in the history of sports.
That Barry Bonds wasn't a part of.
Barry Bonds, per sources, per Scoop Wilson was not a part of. Or maybe he was. I don't know. The grand jury says he was, but what do they know?
Yeah, right.
What do they know?
A bunch of DBs.
But that was considered the darkest time in baseball, where fans were like, "We're done with this." Mm-hmm. They had the big mockery. We had Palmeiro, Sosa, McGuire, yelling at the camera.
So bad.
Kurt Schilling, whatever. Throw them all in there. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. No, I don't really want to talk about that. But in 20 years, we went from, hey, baseball's destroyed, to a horrible game, to 20 years later, we've got drug testing. We've got new rules. This has only been 20 years. It really hasn't been that long of a time.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
And it's now, we are games away now from Tatis Jr. I think he's got 10 to 13 more games, somewhere around there, because I think he had 18 games.
Yeah, it's
I get 18 games.
Yeah, I think it's middle of this month, if I'm not mistaken.
So he'll be back middle of this month. Yeah, what a turn of events for baseball.
Yeah, so just an update on the views thing.
Yeah.
The only thing I could find that we sent into the group chat was about Korea-Japan.
What was it, like 80, 90 million, somewhere around that?
It was 63 million.
Okay, I was off by what, 30 million.
That's still wild.
I was doing the baseball steal percentage.
Yeah. No, it's
inflated a little bit.
But so I wanted to talk about, because you're talking about steroids and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've even heard about this.
Okay.
Double A. They're trying out a new baseball.
I did not.
A grippier baseball for the pitchers.
Okay.
After we just went through all this nonsense with the pitchers and
Spider
spider tack and all this stuff, now we're trying out a grippier baseball. If we're gonna do this, make it a juice baseball and make it grippy.
Well, because
that's pretty much the only way you can get away with this, because you can't say, "Oh, we're gonna make the baseball grippier," because then you may as well bring back spider tack.
And
no, am I crazy here?
And to go back to what you're saying, you remember months ago when we started our podcast, I was talking about Aaron Judge had the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest home run season of all time. Mm-hmm. And you brought up, hey, what about juiced baseballs, right? Mm-hmm. And
there were studies that were out that primetime baseball games were juiced baseballs and all this other stuff.
And you, someone in your family sent me on a deep spiral of checking out stats and stuff like that. And we saw that baseball throughout history has gone through cycles with their baseball, cycles with their baseball, because I got into a deep dive about how in the early 90s, Rawlings had $1 million investigation because their balls were getting absolutely slam dunk out of parks. Was it steroids? Was it not steroids? Was it juice balls? We didn't know. At that time, there wasn't a whole lot of... That was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of information to the balls, the dead ball era, to them juicing the balls at Coors Field, the humidor, whatever, get the Cuban cigars out, right?
It's if you look into it too much, you'll drive yourself nuts.
And so now we have it where the pitchers after they have to get checked. Make sure Kathy or Joe Java from Joe Musco.
Oh yeah, shiny ears Joe.
And now all of a sudden, they're like, well, now we have a new baseball.
Yeah.
Now we have this new baseball where you don't need the spider tack. It's like, where are we going?
Yeah, no, that's what I understand. Like,
I mean,
we're not even. Hey, Rob, listen up, okay? What do I know? I'm a nobody.
Right.
We don't even know if what you're doing now is going to work.
Right.
It's been a week.
And
it's been a week.
And then
we don't even know if this is sustainable, what you're doing right now.
And because realistically, they banned the shift, but teams have already found a way around the shift.
Yes.
Basically, you take your left fielder, put it in the right field, or you take your right field, put it in left field, whatever you want to call it. You can get around it. Really not that difficult. Just shift your infield one way or another, depending on right, left-handed, doesn't matter.
It's ballsy, but
I mean,
if
hit it the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit it the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, I get. The only thing I'll say is maybe the minor leagues are meant for trying new things.
Which I don't hate, because honestly that's where they experimented with all the pitch clock and all this other stuff. But let's slow down. We're in experimental phase of your experimental phase.
Right. And
like,
I mean,
we're not even, like I said, we're not even sure that what you're doing now is effective and is going to work the way you want it to.
And
let's relax.
Right.
And
where's your buddy? Relax.
Let's let people adjust to the game now before we start throwing a spider tack ball out there. I don't care if it's AA, AAA, whatever. You're gonna affect these minor leaguers' career. These minor leaguers are trying to make it to the big league, make a name for themselves.
Yep.
Some of these guys, if they're in the AA, single A still, are very young, very high-profile athletes. And if you're out there trying to pitch them with a ball that's completely different than what they're going to pitch with in the majors, we have issues.
Well, you're also, I feel like you're
affecting the growth of so many players trying to do this.
If you have a prize pitching prospect and he's mowing down guys at AA, some of those guys get called up from AA. They skip AAA, go right to the majors. And the same thing, too, is a lot of those guys from AA hitters sometimes get called up. Hey, you're on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, hey, we've got 3 guys down at this position. You're coming on up. Let's play some ball.
And I mean, like, all of a sudden you got a guy who you're like, oh, here's my single A guy tearing up the ball, put him to AA. Wow, he can't hit anything. And then he goes to the baseball. I'm like, wait, man, the ball moved a lot differently in AA than it did in MLB. I don't know. I just don't know what we're doing. And
we're trying too hard. Rob, you're trying way too hard.
It's just, God.
For a guy that calls a trophy a piece of metal,
Right.
We're trying too hard. I get what you're trying to do, and you said you were going to try to do this when you became commissioner and everything like that. But
right.
Chill out.
And you're also you're setting up a lot of. Is it time for you? You want to say hi on our podcast quick? Absolutely, you can interrupt.
Yeah, I mean,
we're just talking about a little baseball.
A little bit of grippy baseball.
Grippy baseball.
What do you think?
I love baseball.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
I don't want to say it's controversial.
Oh, what is?
Who?
I don't know. What are your favorites?
Oh, you're a Red Sox fan.
Are you a Red Sox
No,
fan?
no, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I was just making sure neither of you guys were.
No, we're not Red Sox.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, you're okay. Yeah. No, I don't think we're in New York. I don't think it's that controversial.
We're just across the bridge from each other.
I know a couple people who are Red Sox fans, and it's hard to wear a hat around them.
Yeah. Adam and I are just across the bridge from each other. That's all.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You want to walk her out, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll
you
go.
got it. All right.
Yeah.
We may have a local meth head for those viewing at home. There may be a local meth head following her around here.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
I'm all the way. I'm so sorry.
Of course, the farthest from it.
I don't know.
I would go through the gym.
Yeah,
I would go through the gym.
That
Yeah.
door has no window on it. It looks like blindside.
That's it. So for those of who are still watching, it's now the solo Adam Stone podcast. When Josh returns, we will continue a little about baseball. I want to get into some of the stat leaders. Tampa Bay Rays, undefeated, 6-0. The Phillies, 1-5. Rough. I don't know. They got a lot of injuries. They played a somewhat difficult schedule. Nola Wheeler can't buy a win. Yankees playing well. Aaron Judge picking where he left off. Let's see. Mets injured. Their super mega team. Where, let's see what their record is. They're 3-4. Verlander hurt. Scherzer busted up. Brett Beatty also busted up. Surgery on his thumb, same as last season. But yeah, that's there's been a wild opening week in baseball. Josh and I have a very serious fantasy baseball matchup going on right now, which I can't wait for to see how that ends up, but I'm sure you will probably hear from it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we were covering today as he escorts Mariana from possible meth heads. Oh, also, we were going to talk about Brian Reynolds playing for a new contract, current home run leader with 4 home runs from the Pittsburgh Pirates, where it looks like they're finally about to spend money on their own player, which they need to. That team, we've been talking about how their payroll is like $29 million. It might be the lowest payroll in history, where they are also getting probably that much money, if not more, in luxury tax spending. And then we also, as I know she said she's a Yankees fan, so we will bash the Red Sox. After the start Xander Bogaerts got, how dumb do the Red Sox look? This guy signed for $25 million, which is a relative steal as compared to other shortstops that have signed. And he is absolutely tearing the cover off the ball to San Diego Padres, batting either first or second or third or fourth in the lineup. The Padres, who are 3-4 right now, they just lost to the Braves tonight. Walk off. Blake Snell still struggling. Struggling might be an understatement. Oh, he's back.
Oh, we're back.
He's back. I just kind of was touching on Brian Reynolds playing out of his mind for a new contract.
I love it. He's my outfielder. My fantasy team, so we like that.
I just brought up how it looks like Pittsburgh's actually finally ready to start spending money to somewhat keep their team together. Any crackheads out there?
No crackheads.
We love that.
We're
No
good.
crackheads. Goodbye.
Yep.
I talked about Boston Red Sox. How do you let Xander Bogaerts go?
He's not very good.
For $25 million.
He's not very good.
I mean, I feel bad for the baseball. It's just like the baseballs have ruined him. Like whoever's pitching, like he hates that. But he is destroying these pitches.
I don't expect his power surge that he's on right now to continue because he hasn't had a power surge like this since 3-4 years ago. But the guy's going to get you 300. The guy's
Especially-
going to bat you 300. And if he's batting 300 in a lineup like that, he'll have 400 RBIs.
But you know what, though, too, is maybe with that lineup,
They're not coming after him as hard.
I mean, you can't really walk him.
Yeah.
I mean, he batted leadoff once. He batted third once. He's batted fourth a bunch of times.
It looks like they're going to keep him in the 4 hole.
Right. You can't really walk him. And, I mean, especially, like, once Tatis Jr. comes back.
Game over.
I mean, you got to pitch to him. Like, you can't, like, I don't want to say you could pitch around him in Boston, but...
It was him and Devers.
Yeah, you can kind of pitch around him in Boston. You can't pitch around him with San Diego. And, like,
Verdugo is okay.
Yeah.
But Trevor Story, okay, when he was playing.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll give Trevor Story better than okay, but he's not healthy enough. Because right now you're looking at it, and you got Kim, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, Cronenworth.
Yeah.
So when
really Nola's the only one who. Well, I know Soto's not hitting right now, but
yeah,
Nola's the only one who's not hitting right now.
Yeah.
Like all the other guys, like Cronenworth has gotten hot. He started off 1 for 17, something like that in the last 3 games.
Grisham's hitting enough out of the 9
I mean,
hole.
and Grisham's got power.
Oh yeah.
And so you can't really walk people on. You know, like you can't really be like, hey, I don't care if something goes on. Maybe he hits a single, maybe he hits a double. This guy will go yard on you. Like if you're not careful, he will go yard on you.
Now just imagine you got Tatis up top. Kim's going to be 5'6" somewhere. So you've got 6 legit hitters.
I mean, you're probably
in a row.
I mean, I'm assuming now at this point is it's going to be Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Carpenter, whatever.
Oh yeah, they have Nelly Cruz.
Carpenter.
Danny Dahl's going to get some time in DH and everything.
Yeah, I mean they're going to play the matchups out of the outfield in the DH spot.
Yeah, because what your 6 go-to starters: Cronenworth, Kim, Machado, Bogarts.
Yeah.
Grisham's probably 9 times out of 10 going to start, and
basically
Tatis. There's your 7.
San Diego, if their pitching can get figured out, Darvish had a good start. Like, Snell's been bad. They still got to get Musgrove back.
Yep.
But, like, their pitching has been bad.
Yeah.
Like, bad. It's costing them games. Where all of a sudden, if their pitching is right, you're like, oh, no.
Bullpens looked okay?
Bullpens looked okay. They blew one tonight. They blew one the other night.
Yeah.
But I was like talking about other teams. Phillies 1 for 5 so far, 1 for 6.
That's starting pitching. Their bullpen has been atrocious.
I mean, you've got Nolan Wheeler, but then all of a sudden... If Walker, he's going to get you.
I think Walker's
going
to be fine.
I mean, he'll be fine. He'll get you what you got to get you. But like, if you're dropping games, he's not your ace that's going to go 8 shutout innings. Like, you got to have a nice team game for them. I'm a little worried about the Phillies. Well, Hoskins really hurt them. That really hurt.
Harper still.
No Harper till June, July-ish. It looks like.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit longer.
I think Derek Hall is a good replacement offensively. He's got to get going though.
Yeah.
And their bullpen has looked about as bad as any bullpen in baseball.
It's been horrible.
They've had one guy that has pitched well. Jose Alvarado is really the only guy that's pitched well out of the bullpen so far.
And if you want to stay in the division, Atlanta's 5-1 or 6-1. I think they are 6-1. They're playing well. Again, you'll kind of look at your lineup and you go, oh, that's a good lineup. You look at their pitching, even with Fried out, you're like, oh, that's some good pitching.
Well, yeah, because they seem to pull these. They're like the fucking Rays with pitching at this point.
Right.
They pull these guys up out of the minors.
Right.
Like, oh, I've never heard of this guy, and he throws 8 shutout. You're like,
He's like, he throws 98. No, that's fine. No big deal. Mets off to an okay start. 3 and 4? I think they are.
3-4, 3-3.
3-4. I think they're a team where if they kind of hang around, eventually they're going to start pulling away. They got to get their pitching right and they got to stay healthy.
Teams up north too. You don't start hitting until May.
No, it's cold. Hey, it's cold up here.
Mm-hmm.
It's cold up here.
The Yankees, Mets, notorious for slow starts.
Well, I mean,
but it doesn't help that Scherzer, both games he's been out there, has looked atrocious.
Bad. Verlander's out.
Yeah, and then you look at the rest of that pitching staff and you go, oh.
Yeah.
At this point, anyways.
Yeah. Yankees have looked good, but Yankees are going to live and die by hitting home runs.
Sounds like last year.
Sounds like last year. You look at their lineup, Torres, Judge, everything else, like DJ's playing okay.
Riz is playing okay.
Stanton's playing okay, but like this is
Stanton's not hitting any home runs though, so technically he's not really doing much.
Right. So like I talked about it last year, and I talked about it before the season. You look at their lineup, and you're like, wow, they got like average players, and then you have Judge. And then at this point now, you have average players, and then you have Judge, and then you have Torres, who is absolutely destroying the ball right now. But you have Garrett Cole, you have Rodon, you have Nestor Cortez, you have. They brought up who was the guy, the rookie AA, brought him up, pitches 5 and just 2/3 shutout innings, whatever.
Oh yeah, and I can't think.
Brito or Brito or something like that. I was watching the game on mute.
Brito sounds about right.
Yeah,
but yeah, Stanton's not doing anything for you if he's not hitting a long ball because he's about as slow as they get on the base pads.
And his only thing right now is he's not striking out, but he had a horrible game-ending double play.
Yeah,
bases were loaded. The bases loaded. It was for second. All you had to do is not hit a double play, and they probably win that game. Fucking smokes it into a double play. But yeah, Tampa Bay, again, like we talked about it too, it's like, oh, here's 3 guys you've never heard of. They're all sub-3 ERAs. Like, cool. That must be nice. Just throw them out there, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, they spent like $43 million on their team, and they're looking like they're gonna be right back where they were last year.
Yeah, but I would say, but to start off the season, I mean, like all the teams are right now in the besides Tampa Bay, they're pulling away. Not that they're
Twins.
It's
Twins
still early.
Twins are 5-1.
So I'm real hyped about that because before the season, your brother asked us, "Who do you think?" And I'm like looking at the Twins. I'm like, "Hey, the Twins look pretty good, right?" So the Twins look, but I mean, we looked into it last year. If you were in the top 10 ERA or the top 10 on base percentage,
generally those correlated as well, though.
Kind of when you went hand in hand, those are the teams that made the playoffs.
Yes.
Like there was only 1 or 2 exceptions, obviously. So you get on pace. You get on base and you pitch, you're gonna make the playoffs. Maybe that's an easy thing to say, but it's the teams that didn't get on base a lot struggled.
Yeah.
'Cause then it's
you got nobody bringing them in.
Nobody bringing them in.
So Twins are 4-2 at the moment. But there's nobody on that pitching staff really outside of maybe Kenta Maeda that Pablo Lopez has kind of come on as a guy for whatever reason. Any other starting pitcher, though, there's nobody I'm really scared of.
I mean, you're going to have it where it's, especially early in the season, where you're going to have things like that. Houston Astros have looked
I think they're fine.
I mean, they're fine. Tucker, who I've never heard of before until I got into fantasy baseball.
Which is wild to me still.
Stud.
Which is wild to me. But, I feel like Twins, too.
Dodgers playing well, but they're the Dodgers. You look at they're another one. You look at them, and you're like, oh, yeah, they look pretty good.
The Twins got a lot of guys right now that are hitting for average and getting on base that don't always necessarily do so.
Cleveland playing well, but they played well last year too. So I mean,
Cleveland's very good. Cleveland's very good. I'm not surprised about it.
Milwaukee playing very well.
Outside of Corbin Burns looking like absolute dog shit.
They need him to turn around. Well, I mean,
he's top 5, and that's being generous.
Yep.
I might give him top 3.
Oh,
guy's good.
And we didn't talk about it. Anthony Rendon.
Rendon? Yeah.
Rendon attacking a fan, embarrassing himself.
Oh, yeah, he's appealing that, though, so he can keep playing.
Yep. Angels above 500 for the first time in 27 years or something like that. I may have made that up. Ohtani playing well, as usual.
Yep.
Trout. I haven't looked at Trout this year.
I don't know how he's doing.
He's playing well. If you can surprise that.
No, I mean, I'm
368. 368.
Oh, not bad.
I wonder if I feel like the World Baseball Classic had to help them.
Yeah.
Right, because I mean they were playing.
Trout was not hitting well in the World Classic.
Yeah, Texas off to an okay start, 4-2, and that's with DeGrom looking not like DeGrom.
No, the second game he looked.
Second game he played. He pitched well. I didn't see. He only
went like 5 1/3 though. He struck out 11 though.
That's you know what?
Yeah.
That makes you. That
actually,
wins
here we
games.
go. I see the stat right here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, the first game he got lit up. He went 6 innings, struck out 11, 2 walks, 2 hits, and an earned run.
Oh, and I do want to say that looking at
Cardinals scuffling.
I want to say looking at their team, we watched them a couple times here at the bar. The Orioles got some young stars. Stars may be an understatement.
Do they ever?
I mean, it's like the Santander, Mountcastle,
Rutschman,
Henderson,
Mullins
at leadoff. Like
Hayes is no slouch.
Like I'm looking at their team right now, but their bottom of the order is killing it. Them Adam Frazier looks like a guy. Mateo's getting on base, getting steals,
and then Austin Hayes, that's their left fielder who's been playing real well as of right now.
Right, so if they can get some pitching, which they have some good pitching prospects. Rodriguez pitched today. That was like one of their big star prospects.
Yep.
If they might be a lot closer. I mean, they were at 81 and 81 last year, so it's not like they were super far off.
Hey, they got a bullpen.
They got some young stars over there.
They have a fucking bullpen over there. I'll tell you, Felix Bautista, their closer, is about as good as anybody in the game. Yeah, if they could get any sort of starting pitching, watch out.
Right. All of a sudden, the American League East is quite loaded, minus Boston.
Yeah.
Sorry, Boston.
Yeah,
keep your players. What are you doing? What is Boston doing? Could you imagine their team if they had Xander Bogaerts and Mookie Betts still in there and you just didn't give them away because you wanted to pay them?
Stop.
And then you get a couple guys like JD Mark, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not a Boston fan, so I don't care. They can win or lose. It doesn't
They
really...
actually got swept by the hot-hitting Pittsburgh Pirates at home.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll call it whatever you want to call it. But it's just, it's what a weird... They didn't win for 100 years, started spending money, win a couple rings, and then they're like, yeah, we're done again.
Yep.
What are you doing? You had Mookie Betts.
Don't
You had
know.
Xander Bogaerts.
Yep.
Who still, I would say, are pretty close to primes of their career.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Jays look like they could be kind of legit.
They got a lineup. They got some decent starting pitching. Like that's going to be, maybe they all beat the crap out of each other and that, winds them down a little bit. But the same thing too, we talked about at the beginning of the year, like we'll see if Texas and the Angels can stay through because Seattle's off to a poor start.
Which I'm not worried about that.
I don't think
either.
anybody's worried about that. But it's also too, it's like you have, I don't know, you look at the AL. Like I'm looking at it right now. It's like Texas. Like you look at their lineup. Yeah.
The only way Texas is going to continue to win is if their offense keeps doing what it's been doing of late.
Yeah.
I think they're averaging like 14 runs a game or something.
Not that high, but it's absurd. I mean, they put up 16 on the Phillies. That what it was. They put up 16.
Yeah.
But I mean.
But that offense has got to continue to be hot. And nothing for nothing, that offense is kind of similarly built to a Yankees. They're not going to be a lot of bloops. It's going to be a whole lot of blasts that are going to get them through. So,
and you look through. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. You're like, Lowe's okay.
Yeah.
Simeon
strikes out a ton. Lowe strikes out a ton. Simeon strikes out a ton.
Corey Seager, Jung's kind of relatively. He's like, this is technically his rookie year.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you kind of look through. And
Garcia, Alicia Garcia.
Yeah, it's like you got to test the test of 162 games.
Mitch Garver? No, not Mitch Garver. What's their catcher's name?
Yeah, Garver.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Jonah Heim, another good catcher.
Yeah.
So they probably got the best catching tandem I've seen.
And they also got some tremendous starts from guys that I don't know if they're going to keep getting tremendous starts from. Like Gray had a good start.
Yep.
Perez had a good start. DeGrom was 1 out of 2 for starts. Like Eovaldi, kind of know what you're going to get with him.
Eovaldi's kind of like a Walker type of pitcher.
Right, what you're going to get out of him. Like, they're not going to win you the game. They're not going to lose you the game. They're going to give you the innings. It's not going to kill your bullpen.
I'm hoping that's what Heaney kind of does. That's kind of where he's been his entire career. But against the Orioles, he got lit up.
He got torched. Yep, he got torched. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
They're a very interesting team.
Yes. White Sox, another team that you don't really know where they're going.
Right, I look at the White Sox, and they're another one. It's like, you look at their team, and you're like, they got a couple star players, and then you're like, So, but right now, looking at it, like, Baltimore looks real good. I like Toronto. Yankees, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get good pitching, and you're going to get a lot of home runs. Tampa Bay, you know what you're going to get. And then you get to the rest of the AL, and it's like, Guardians look good. Astros look good.
American League's kind of loaded.
Oh yeah, it is very. I think it's very top heavy.
Yeah.
Is what I was trying to say.
Well, there's no middle class in the American League.
No, there's no middle. Yeah, you look at Oakland's roster and be like, yeah, they're competing for anything. Like
Oakland spent the same amount of money as the Mets are spending on Max Scherzer right now.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's $43 million. The Mets are actually paying more because it's 43 and a third for Max Scherzer, and the A's are spending $43 million. Just if people were wondering.
Yeah.
The Royals are a team right now that I think maybe not this year, but they've got some young studs.
They got some young guys on that team. Like that's the thing is I feel like a lot of those teams are doing it right. Where look at another one too. If you're in the baseball, look at I'm looking at it right now. I'm cheating. I'm looking at Kansas City. They got some young guys in their mid-20s, early 20s where give them a season or two. They at least could be above average serve. I don't know if they have any superstars in their hitting lineup.
Salvador Perez.
Well, yeah, catcher. I mean, he's one of the better catchers in the league right now.
Yeah.
But like, you look at is there any like super mega stars in there? Like
Bobby Witt's probably the next closest thing, and that's all projection stuff because he
Right.
hasn't played enough.
Yep.
God, he's 22. Holy fuck.
Like I said, they're all. That's a young. You look at their team; they're young.
Yeah.
There's a young team. But I like. If you're not going to go for it, play your young guys.
Yeah.
See what you get out of them. Let them learn in the major leagues. How are we doing for time? Are we close? I
Yeah,
feel
we're
like
probably at about an hour. Yeah.
Oh, we're about an hour. Okay. Well.
Yeah, if any of those young pitchers for Kansas City could figure their way out, they could be a team.
Yeah.
Right now, though, that entire lineup is scuffling. Bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like
Oh yeah.
kind of tough to watch. Like nobody's batting much better than like a 250 right now.
Oh yeah. No,
Lineup, but
it's hard to watch right now. What are they? 1-5, 2-5,
Yeah, 1 and
something like
5.
that? 1 and 5.
Yeah.
So-
So I think they got plenty. I think they're going to be somebody that people aren't going to want to play because they're going to be.
No.
They're kind of reverting back to old Kansas City Royals of
Yep.
when they won the World Series and just single you to death.
That's it. That's it.
Single you to death, and you're going to bring people in.
Yep. Well, I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
Till next time. Adam Stone.
Yeah. Josh Burnett.
Goodbye. Goodbye. What you would do?